Jaisalmer, India. This is the desert city of India, and although it doesn't look like a desert city because of how rainy it is today, that is just because it's an exception. We've just arrived into this incredible city, and I'm going to show you guys just some first glimpses of the city. This place has so many different things. It's got dunes, it's got forts, but we're not going to explore those today. We're going to take a little bit of a calmer, chiller day here in Jaisalmer and show you what there is to do on a more casual day here in Jaisalmer. So with that, let's go ahead, let the adventure begin, and let's start exploring the city of Jaisalmer. One thing to note about Jaisalmer is that unlike other cities here in Rajasthan, for example, Jaipur or even Jodhpur to a certain extent, Jaisalmer is a very small city. It's very, very walkable, which means that getting around here, you don't need a rickshaw, you don't need a car. It is very doable to just walk around the city and see all the main sites that you want to. Even the fort, you can walk up to it, and most of the hotels and hostels are just around the fort anyways, which makes it a very convenient and walkable city to get around. With that said, however, the weather today is not the greatest for walking around. As you can tell, the ground is very wet. It's been raining all day, which is apparently an anomaly here in Jaisalmer. So I guess we're just having some bad luck today. Now, one of the main things to do here in Jaisalmer is to see these beautiful structures like this incredible one right behind me. These are called havelis. Havelis used to be the big, beautiful, stone-built traditional homes that define Jaisalmer, and actually all across the city there are dozens of havelis that define sort of the sites that you can see here in Rajasthan, in Jaisalmer. Now, havelis weren't usually the most common type of house. Obviously, you can see like these sort of houses are very different from the beautiful grand havelis over there. The havelis used to be more for the richer people. Obviously, you had to have more money in order to have your own sort of stone entire sort of estate, almost like a villa inside here. Now, this one here is the Moti Mahal Haveli. It's supposed to be a really, really nice Haveli. Unfortunately, because it is damaged right now, we're not allowed to go inside this one. But that's not really a concern because here in Jaisalmer, there's literally dozens of different havelis we can see. So we're just gonna literally walk down the street and we're gonna see if there's any other havelis that we can see here in Jaisalmer. But for our first one, you can see how impressive it is, how magnificent it is, and let me just say, it looks absolutely incredible. Literally having been in this city for less than an hour, I am loving this city. This is what an average street here in Jaisalmer looks like. The color, it's like a yellowish sand-like color because that's the material that they have here. They've got a lot of this sort of light yellow color. Even the whole fort is of that color. Now, we're not going to see the fort today, but even outside of the fort, you have beautiful buildings like this. Look at the intricate carvings on these buildings. These buildings are hundreds of years old, with families having passed them down generation after generation, and these carvings have been a testament to all the history that has happened here in Jaisalmer. Look at these buildings, look at these streets. I mean, we're just walking down these streets to the next Haveli, and this is the average view that you're gonna get here in Jaisalmer. The weather might not be great, but the beauty of this city just doesn't cease to amaze me. Oh no, the cow is going to the house. I'm kind of worried for the owner of this house. The cows here literally have no idea of privacy. Pretty sure the cow is a trespasser here. It's literally trespassing into this guy's house. It's quite funny, actually. I do have to say, credit is due where credit is due. This entire city has been much cleaner than the other cities I've seen in Rajasthan. Compared to Jaipur, compared to Jodhpur, I mean, these streets will be literally filled with trash, but here in Jaisalmer, it's actually much cleaner. I don't know what they're doing here differently, but definitely a much better job than other places in India. You can see here all the classic Jaisalmer stone that is used to build buildings here in Jaisalmer. Not only does it look really cool as to the actual color of the city, but apparently it also helps with ventilation. The natural material of the rock helps so that during the really hot summer days in Jaisalmer, the material of this rock actually helps to cool down the weather of the inside, the temperature of the house. Now obviously that's not really necessary today considering that is the color of the sky, but when it's really hot, really sunny, Jaisalmer is literally a desert city, and this type of stone is exactly the type of stone you would want your house to be built with. Oh. You want to give me a high five? Yeah! Whoa! Good job! The kids here in India, they are literally the cutest, most adorable little things. They are just so cute. Now after a few U-turns, a few mistakes, and a few wrong roads, we finally made it to one of the most beautiful and one of the most famous havelis here in Jaisalmer. As you can probably tell, this is an incredibly beautiful place. This is Patwon Havelis, and the legend is that this was built in the 1800s by the Patwon brothers, who actually left Jaisalmer for better fortunes. They made a lot of money, decided to even finance the state deficit of Jaisalmer, then came back to build this with all the money that they had collected. Unfortunately, when they came back, they lost a lot of their fortunes, so ended up leaving the Haveli here into the caretaker's hands of Jaisalmer. But this used to be their house, and you can literally see how incredible it is. Perched right over the main street, you have a great, incredible view of the city right outside there. This is probably one of the most beautiful buildings I have seen in all of India, and it even can compete with the palaces and the forts that I've seen of the emperors in Jaipur and Jodhpur. Like literally, they had their own palace here in Jaisalmer, and it looks absolutely incredible. Imagine having such an incredible view outside of your window every morning. That is what wealth buys you here in India about 200 years ago. And right up here, we've come to the very top of the Haveli, and you have an incredible view of the entire city of Jaisalmer. As you can see, it's not a very big city. Over there, that's the end of it. All that green grass over there, that's the countryside. That's no longer Jaisalmer. So it's not exactly the biggest city. It's very walkable as a city, but you can see how beautiful this place is. I mean, honestly, the Haveli is one of the most incredible places I've seen here in Jaisalmer. And imagine living here about 100 years ago. That must have been the peak of luxury here in India. But with that, I think we're gonna go back down. We're gonna head back deep into the streets of Jaisalmer. I have to say, this Haveli, Patwon Haveli, one of the most beautiful places I have seen in all of India. If you get the chance to come to Jaisalmer, just this Haveli alone would be a reason for you to come to Jaisalmer. It is incredible, it is beautiful, the architecture is out of this world. I just never imagined Havelis would look this beautiful, but after seeing that, there's just no Haveli in the world that can compare with this one. The rickshaw rides here in India never cease to amaze me. The chaos, the speed, the bumpiness of it all never stops surprising me. And just like that, we have made it to our final spot for the day here in Jaisalmer. It is a beautiful, big body of water. This is Gadsisar Lake, just a little outside of Jaisalmer. Now, what's interesting about this lake is that it is actually not a natural lake. It is a completely man-made lake. That's why you see how beautiful it is all constructed. Surprisingly, this is not a recently built lake. This was built in 1300s, so literally over 700 years ago this lake was built, and it was built as a sort of water catchment area. It's important to remember that here in Jaisalmer we are literally in the middle of a desert, which means that water does not come easily. Having a reservoir is really, really important. And I know today it definitely looks like there's a lot of water from the sky, but usually that is not the case. So today is really a big exception, which is why they needed all this water in order to make sure that there was water flowing around the city and also the fort of Jaisalmer. Now what's really nice about this place is that there are actual little structures in the middle of the lake. It makes for beautiful photos and it is an incredible spot to visit. And more importantly, you can even take a boat ride into this lake. It is a beautiful, beautiful place to visit. And the locals have just come down here and are exploring this lake. You can get boat tours, you can get them where somebody rows you out. You can also get them where you're the one who's rowing yourself out. Either way, it's a beautiful place to be and an incredible place to watch the sunset. Unfortunately today, there is no sunset. You can probably tell from the clouds up here, there's not going to be much of a sunset. But with that said, this is just our first day here in Jaisalmer. We've got another day to explore the city, and I have to say, first impressions of the city, it is a beautiful city. I'm starting to love this place already. The havelis, the streets, the structures, the architecture. It is truly one of the most beautiful places I have seen here in India so far, and I'm so excited to see more of Jaisalmer. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. If you enjoyed this video, please definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. I've got a lot more videos coming here from India, not just India, but also Rajasthan, which is the state of India. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.